Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdscraftinghaven.com, and I wanted to show you this beautiful little snowflake that I made. I hope you can see how much it sparkles, because it really is beautiful. I hope the camera picks it up. And this was so easy to make. I just used 3 different kinds of glitter along with the Mod Podge Super Gloss, the 1-coat gloss finish. And then I just made a little tassel for it, and the tassel was very easy to put together. You can use a lot of different things, and I'll give you some ideas. I also have a special little trick that I did. I'll show you how I attached this cup chain without any kind of clasp or anything to slip it on to the jump ring, and I used the same trick for this as well, this pearl trim here. So I'll show you how I did that in the video, but I think it turned out really lovely. And this is the back, like that. And then I made a blue one, and I thought that turned out really pretty too. And I love the way the light catches the glitter on this. And this is the little tassel that I made for this. And then I put a little lace bow on, a little embellishment in the center. And there's the back. So I'll show you how I made these, and they're so easy. Don't feel intimidated by the tassel. That's extremely easy as well. And I'll show you exactly how I did that. Okay, I'm going to grab a paper towel here, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a coat of Mod Podge right on the snowflake. And there's our plastic snowflake. You know, let me talk about this for a moment. You can pick this design up, the same style and everything, in a lot of stores. I've even found this on eBay when I typed in the words plastic snowflakes. Of course, they were a little more on eBay, but you can usually pick these up for about a dozen in a package at the same time for really cheap. But the reason why I chose this one was because, you see, this part here, there's a hole there. And there's a hole here. Well, you're going to need these holes, because this is where you're going to attach your charm, and this is where you're going to attach the top piece to hang from your Christmas tree. Okay? So that's the reason why I chose this particular design. So with that said, I'm going to show you how I put the Mod Podge on. Now I just used this e.l.f. brush that I purchased. It's just a makeup brush. I purchased it at Dollar Tree, and it's very soft, and it cleans up very nicely, this Mod Podge does, with just plain water afterwards. So I'm just going to put a tiny amount of Mod Podge. Well, when I say tiny, I don't mean tiny, I just mean not a ton. And the reason why I do this is because you don't want to be dipping your brush from here to the Mod Podge on this glittery surface, or you're going to end up with glitter in here. So I'm just going to take this like this, and I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to put a nice coat of Mod Podge on every stem until it's completely covered all the way around. And you want to put on about a medium coat. You don't want a super light coat, not a super heavy coat, but just a medium coat. And I'm just doing this all the way around. And of course, anything that drips on the napkin here is fine. Or the paper towel, I meant to say. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. So now let me get this last little bit in here. Make sure you get the tips too, that's important. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside just for a second, and I'm going to take a piece of plastic. This is just a baggie that I cut in half, and I'm going to lay that on here. And the reason I'm doing this is because the Mod Podge won't stick to this plastic and it can dry on that. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this Marquee Love medium grit glitter that I showed you a while back that I love. It's kind of a silver iridescent color. And I'm going to shake some of this all over here. Now normally after I would shake glitter on this, I would probably take the time to put the glitter back in the bottle, just shake it back in the bottle with this bag here. But I don't want to do that because it'll waste time on camera. So I'm just going to go ahead and shake the glitter on. The second glitter I'm putting on is Tinsel Glitter by Recollections in Blush. Okay, so we're doing a pink one. Putting quite a bit of that on. And of course, if you wanted to make the blue one like I showed you, I used the Recollections Tinsel Glitter in the color Frost right here. Okay. Okay. Alright, so I gave it just a little light coat, and there may be very tiny variations of the white glitter in the background, but that's fine because it all looks really pretty on this. And I'm not going to shake it, I'm just going to tip it over like that. And then of course all this glitter wouldn't be here because I would have put that in the bottle. And you're going to lay it down and allow this to dry for, I would say, a good 6 hours or so. Now it's very important, the drying time, because this is what's really going to make your glitter stick on there. And so after it dries for about 6 hours, you're going to go back in with some more Mod Podge and your Dixie cup. And then you're going to take your finger this time and just pat dots of Mod Podge all over the top of your snowflake. And do that until you have just about covered every area in dots. Okay? So then you're going to come back in with the jumbo glitter. And I bought this beautiful jumbo iridescent glitter from Walmart, and they have this during the year even when it's not the Christmas season. And boy, it sure is pretty. And this is less than $4 a jar. Now, if you don't have a Walmart near you, I do know they carry it at Joann's as well, but it's not by the same maker. This one is called Crystal Quartz. That's the well, that's the name of the glitter, or the color of the glitter. There's actually no brand name that I can see other than it says jumbo glitter. So you'll shake the jumbo glitter all over it, just like that. Then once you do that, you're going to allow this to sit here and dry for a good solid day. And then once you do that, you're going to turn this over, do the same thing on the back. And then you're going to stand this up against something like maybe a thick book or something like that, just so both sides can get to the air. And honestly, I would allow it to cure on this this glitter to cure on this. I shouldn't say just the glitter. I'm sorry. You want the Mod Podge and the glitter to just take time to dry and cure on this, because it will give you a very hard, very stiff surface, and you won't have any problems with the glitter falling off, which is really nice. So just allow that, you know, that drying time, give it a couple of days, and you'll notice a huge difference. There's a big difference between this being dry and this being cured on it. So anyway, that's just a little tip. I know I've probably gone on too long about that, but thank you for bearing with me. So I'm going to set this aside right now, and this is going to be drying on its own over here. Okay, and let's see. Yeah. All right, so let me roll this glitter off my fingers. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you one that I already did, and as you can tell, it's very tough. You're not going to find a bunch of glitter falling off. I already had glitter on my fingers here, but and what I did is I glued a pretty embellishment in the center. You can purchase these acrylic embellishments. I believe Recollections has them now in the sticker section at Michael's, but you can also find these for very inexpensive on eBay. You just type in the words in the search bar that says flat back or round rhinestone flat back embellishments or something like that, or flat back buttons, and they'll pop up. This is an 18 millimeter. I wouldn't go any smaller than 18 millimeter, and I just hot glued that in the middle. These are 20 millimeter. See, those are a little larger. So they have them in all different pretty colors and sizes, but get either an 18 or 20 millimeter. And so if you noticed this part here, I found one of the well, there's several of these on here, but what I did was I chose one and with a hole in it, and we're going to use this part to hang our charms. So I had to come in and like this with my wire cutters and cut a piece of that snowflake off. And I know it looks funny right now, but it won't look funny when we're finished. This will be covered, okay? And the top part, as you can see, we're going to put some thread in here to hang that, but I'm going to take my round nose pliers, since the Mod Podge kind of covered up that hole, and I'm just going to do this to open it up. See how I did that? That was easy. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to put our tassels together. Now you're going to need two 10-inch jump rings, and then you're going to need some pearl chain. The pearl chain you can also find at Michael's. You can find it on eBay. Just type in the word pearl chain. If you don't have time to get this, I can show you what else you can do in just a moment, okay? So I'm going to slip these strands of pearl chain on here, and I actually had a big long chain of pearls, and I didn't cut them. I just bent this part and opened it up and slipped the pearls out. And there are these are about 6 millimeter pearls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 on each one of these strands, and I think I cut them to about 3.5 inches roughly. So I'm just going to lay that here like that, and this is the cup chain, the real delicate cup chain, and you see that I made a little loop there, And how I did that, in order to slip this on here like this, I'll show you. Like that. And then I slipped the other one on this side. And I cut these rhinestones at about 7 3/4 of an inch. And the reason why so long is because you have to bend it in half to make that little loop there to hang on this, okay? And so you can also do the same thing with this pearl trim here. And it's the pearl trim that you can pick up at Walmart, you know. And I did the same thing, made a loop there, and I tied it with the upholstery thread. So I'll show you how I did that in a moment. If you want, you can use those in place of, sorry about that, in place of the larger pearls. If you don't have them, you can make up maybe 3 different strands of those, you know. So there's a lot of different things you can hang. You can hang a long pink tassel if you want. These look like cute little tassels, and I cut them off some lace that a dear friend of mine sent me. Isn't that pretty lace? And you can pick this beautiful lace up on eBay for very inexpensive. I just ordered some more in a white. And so, let's see. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of those like this on each side. Now, if you don't have access to this, or you live in a different country and can't find it, you can also use the 1/4 inch lace. And this I got at Walmart for $1. And you can just cut about maybe about 3 3/4 of an inch, and then just hang it like this on the sides. Just make sure it's not any more than 1/4 of an inch. So that's an alternative. Oops, these fell off because I was talking too much. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that up for now. And like I said, I'll show you how I made the cup chain and the little pearls with a little hole in the middle to hang on here. Okay, so don't go away. All right, so then I'm going to take the other 10 millimeter jump ring, and I'm going to slide that through. And then I'm going to take my little snowflake and put that right here through the hole, and then close that. And I'm able to do that with my fingers. So there we go, just like that. Isn't that pretty? Now, I took some lace that I found at Walmart. They have this lace in these little capsules, these clear capsules, and they're $1 a piece. And they're where the lace and trims are. They're usually at the very bottom shelf. And so I just picked this out, and I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to make a little bow with this. So just did this. Doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. Just tie a bow the best you know how. And then we're going to hot glue it on, and I'll show you where to hot glue it, because there's a place that you can hot glue it that actually looks the best. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Like so. Okay, that looks good, I think. Now, I'm just going to cut this right here at an angle. I'm going to make it kind of short. Okay, and do the same thing here. So we have that. And here, let me move this down a little bit. And I'm going to take some hot glue, put it on the back, like so. Then I'm going to hot glue it just above this jump ring. Not on the jump ring, but just above it. And you want to get it down there as far as you can, okay? There we go. So it kind of covers up the fact that we cut part of that snowflake off. And then you don't even notice it. See? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we're almost finished. I'm going to tell you about this upholstery thread. I love this stuff. I've known about this for years. I bought this at Walmart, and it's in where the regular threads are, but you have to look closely because the only place where it says upholstery is very tiny at the top. And they have this at Walmart in the white and the black, but I use the white most of the time. And this stuff is so strong. You would not believe it. I mean, watch. I mean, I'm really yanking and pulling on that. It will cut you before you're able to break this. So I just take a little overhand loop, just like that. And I just put it here at the top. And then pull it. Like so. You don't want it hooked on this part though. Okay. Like so. And then I just put another overhand knot. You should probably do a backwards forward knot. And then at the top here, I'm going to just make a couple of 2 or 3 knots. And after you make 2 or 3 knots up here, just cut off the excess and put a little dot of the Mod Podge on the knot, the Mod Podge gloss, and it won't come undone. Okay. And see, now there's nothing left here. Okay, so I'm just going to take just a tiny bit of that Mod Podge gloss here. Like that, just at the end. And you won't be able to see it, of course. Okay, so, see? There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make that little loop at the top for the pearls and for the cup chain. Okay, so, oops, I'm going to take my ruler here and I'm going to cut about 7 3/4 inch cup chain, because that's what I used for the length on these. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to grab a piece of the white upholstery thread. And I don't measure the thread, I just do a long piece. Okay, so now I made an overhand knot, and I'm going to set this this thread down right here. And then I'm going to take this cup chain, and I bought this cup chain off a seller on eBay. I can provide the link down below in the drop down bar for you. And I'm going to try to even it up at the bottom first, and then I can do like this at the top and hold it. Okay, so I'm going to place this loop like this. I'm going to hold it, one side of it with this finger, and then I'm going to pull like this, and see how it wraps around there? And then I'm going to pull it tight like that. And look, you have a little place to slide this loop onto your jump ring. And you're going to make a forward knot, a backward knot, and another forward knot. Okay, just so it won't come undone. Like so. And then I'm going to cut it with the scissors and then put some of the Mod Podge gloss on. One thing I like about the Mod Podge is not only does the Mod Podge gloss come out easily on the brush, but it comes off easily on your fingers as well. Okay, take a little more of this. I'm just getting a little bit right here around the edge of the jar. And then you're just going to do this, just a little bit on that knot, and then just allow it to dry. And then you can just slide this right on. And it's really easy. I did the same exact thing with this one. And I'm going to have to hollow this out a little bit though, because I went a little bit crazy with the Mod Podge. So I'll just take my little round nose pliers or toothpick and, you know, just do this, make a hole. There we go, see? Made it already. And a little trick to this pearl trim, you know how when you get it on the rolls and it comes off, it's kind of bent like this? Well, what I did was I held this like so at the end, and I pulled like this. I just kept pulling and tugging like this on both of them, so it would loosen the fibers in the thread in between here. And eventually, lo and behold, I mean, it worked pretty well. I mean, this is pretty straight actually for coming off that roll. See, just like that. So you can use this as well, you know, if you don't have any of this or don't have access to it. Okay? So anyway, that was just my little trick. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making these, and they really did turn out pretty. You can do so many different things making the tassel. And once you put this on, they're not going to be 100% spot on even with each other, but you can make it fairly even if you have to trim, you know, things up a little bit here at the bottom. So I really hope you give this a try, because this really is beautiful. Okay guys, thank you so much for bearing with me on this video. And I don't know why my camera's doing that, but I saw that it looked like it was kind of foggy there for a moment. Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.